Hello everyone and welcome to another Involve Me webinar. My name is Monica Ben and today I will be showing you how to count custom price quotes for your customers in a completely automated hands-free way. I will be making a custom price quote calculator from scratch that you can insert into your website and use on your social media. And we're starting right away. So first of all, what is a custom price quote calculator? Well, besides being a mouthful, a custom price quote calculator is essentially a lead magnet. Believe it or not, it is a lead magnet, and it guides customers to put together a service or a product, and it attaches a custom price tag to it. Price quote calculators also collect emails in order to be able to send the price quote to the customer, which is where the lead generation element comes from, and they do that really well. Custom price quote calculators get 4 times more leads than a regular contact form. So if price quotes are your thing, this type of lead magnet should also be your thing, which leads me to the next micro topic, which is who uses custom price quote calculators? What kind of company, what kind of business are they for? And the answer is that any company who uses custom price quotes can and should use a custom price quote calculator. It makes the sales process so much easier, faster. It removes friction between sales and the customer. It completely gets rid of all the back and forth with emails. And the customer who gets in touch with your sales team is already informed. They already know how much they can expect to pay before even speaking to anybody and potentially wasting anybody's time, and especially their own time. So a custom quote calculator can filter out people who cannot afford your services, and it will allow you to prioritize your highest paying clients. A very basic example of a custom price quote calculator from the real world with a real company would be, for example, a painting company. Let's keep it very simple. So a painting company would calculate custom price quotes based on the square footage of the surfaces that need to be painted, the type of paint, is it inside or is it outside, how tall are the ceiling, how fast does it need to get done, how many people do you need to be painting, all of that. A price quote calculator will take all of these factors that contribute to the final price, ask the customer about them, attach a price tag to each answer, count them together, and then send them to the customer. All completely automated. You set it and you forget it. Well, the only time you have to think about it again is when somebody replies to an automated email that has the price quote in it already. So those will be the people who already know the price and are ready for the next step. And the best part about all of this is that it takes less than an hour to set up. From the design to the functionality to the email to the calculator formula to the actual prices everywhere, everything can be done within an hour, and everything is going to be done actually during this webinar. So you can follow along and you will end up with a fully functioning, branded custom price quote calculator for your website. Or social media if you don't have one. That's not a problem. That's never stopped anybody, and it doesn't have to stop you. Okay, so in about 5 minutes, I will show you exactly how to make a price quote calculator from scratch. But before, just to make sure that we are on the same page and we know what we're talking about, I'm going to show you 3 different examples of custom price quotes that we made in Involve Me. These are all available as templates. You can just grab them, put your branding on it, and you will be ready to go in about 20 minutes, depending on like how many things you would like to change. But all of these are already pre-designed. They have all the functionalities in it, and they are available on the Involve Me website, and they are up for grabs. So let's have a look at what they look like and what they do. Okay, so now we are on the Involve Me website, and under here in resources and templates is where we can find all 180 plus templates. And I'm saying 180 plus because even I'm not sure how many we have at this point. We keep adding them all the time. So, 179, very close. Okay, so if we're looking for custom price quotes, all we need to do is click down here, custom price quotes, and you can see all the eligible templates that match that category. Let's start with this one, which calculates the price quotes for a solar panel company. So I'm going to hit preview, and we can see all the questions that this template asks. First of all, they need to know what shape does the roof have, because obviously if it's a flat roof, it has different costs and expenses than an oddly shaped roof that would need a lot of customizations. After that, they are asking if there are any additional structures on the roof, like a chimney, for example. After that, of course, it's important to know how many square meters does the roof that we are covering have, because that will have a large effect on the final price. And of course, how many people live in the household, so that we can determine if the solar panels can provide enough energy for every member of the household and their daily needs. And lastly, this is a little trick that I'm not sure if it's okay to share with you, because it is tricky. This is actually just a GIF. And you enter a little invisible timer here, and you can determine how long would you like the customer to wait. We have it very short. You can see, like, I keep clicking back and forth, but yes, this is just a GIF. So the customer feels like the calculation is being made, the little minions are already constructing a little model of the solar panels. So he feels like stuff is being done under the hood, when in reality everything is already done. We have the information, the calculation can be done in seconds, and we could show it to them right away. But we don't want to do that. We want to collect their emails first. We are exchanging their contact information for our pricing information, which is a fair exchange. And this is why these lead magnets work as lead magnets, and this is why they convert better than just a contact form. We let the customer know what goes into the process of determining the price and providing a great service. We let them know how much we care about their service we provide by asking all these questions to be able to provide their service. So once they make it to this point, they are more likely to leave their contact information than in a basic checklist contact form. So after that is done, after they leave their contact information, they will have a little thank you for your submission. You'll receive your personal offer per email shortly. Now, InvolveMe does have the option to display the final price quote right here on this page. You could have it a little bit above, you could have it a little bit below. You can definitely show it to them already because you already have the email. But we chose not to for these templates because we want to get the potential customer into their inbox, into their email, when there's already an automated introduction theme from your sales giving the price quote, so they can take the communication over from there already. If we show them the price quote straight away on this page, they would be less likely to go to their inbox and speak to your team. So that's why. We'll be looking a little bit more in depth at this template later, because this is a template that we will be remaking. But before that, let me show you two more examples. We have an enterprise software license quote, so let's have a look at it. So over here, this is a software company that makes custom plans for different types of users. So first of all, we need to know how big is the company, how many people work there, so that's the first question. Then how many people will actually use the software. You can go all the way up to 100. We also ask what are they trying to accomplish with the software, so their onboarding experience can be a little bit customized. And there's also a question about third-party integrations. Now we're at the loading screen again with the little tricky GIF, and the same process repeats. We ask for the contact information, and at the end, again, we could show the price quote, but we chose not to, in order to get the people into their inbox so the conversation doesn't just end, but it continues with our sales team. And one last example that I'm going to show to you before we remake the solar panel one is over here. This is for a loan. So you can get a loan that's up to 40,000. You can enter your sum here, and you can select a purpose for your loan. So like, what kind of loan is this? Let's say that it's for your business. On the next page, you can see if it's multiple people applying or just one person applying. And that's actually all we need to know in order to start matching them with good loan options. However, when it comes to banking, we need a little bit more personal information. So we decided to split it into multiple pages so it doesn't just look like a long list that never ends and it's overwhelming. So little by little, we ask for personal information. We ask about the age, we ask about the salary, we ask about the name, the first and the last name, then the address, then the phone number, then the email, and then we crunch the numbers and get the price quote, which can be sent directly into their inbox automatically. So this is a little bit of a different approach, but I wanted to show it to you regardless. Okay, so now that we have seen these three different examples of different businesses calculating custom price quotes on their website automatically, let's actually make one. So this is the template that I will be recreating from scratch. It will look exactly the same as the one that I just showed you. Even though I could just grab it, I could just click choose and everything is already there, and that is exactly what you can do if you like the functionality, or if you like the look, or if you just happen to be a solar panel company that's just like, oh my god, is this webinar for me? Maybe. For everybody else, follow along. So in order to start from scratch, you just hit blank, you choose a blank template, a blank canvas. The first decision that you need to make is choose a project type. So there are three project types, and don't worry, you can change back and forth anytime while you're editing, or even after your project is live. You can change it as many times as you would like to, so this is not a definite decision. So a thank you page is every template that I just showed you just had a thank you page. If we wanted something a little bit more complex than everybody just ending on the same page that basically says thank you, go check your inbox. If you wanted something a little bit more personalized, for example, the solar panel company template that I'm recreating starts with a question about 5 different roof types. So if you wanted each roof type to go to a different page, for example, we would have answer-based outcomes, and that would mean that people who pick flat roof, people who have a flat roof, would have a special page that addresses the specific needs of customers with flat roofs, and people who have an odd-shaped roof would have a different page that addresses the specific needs of people who have oddly shaped roofs. But right now we're not going to go that much in depth. I think there is a limited amount of information that people are willing to listen to when it comes to roofing. So let's move on. We are going to name this project Price Quotes and start editing. So now we are here in this blank canvas where we can drag and drop anything from this side panel over here. It's a good idea to start with a headline. So I'm going to drop one here, and then I can just type my actual words into it. How much will your solar roof cost? There we go. There's more space for a subheadline here, so I'm just going to copy paste that right in. Now let's ask the first question, which was about the type of the roof. So I'm going to pick image answer, and I believe it was horizontal and it was square shaped. So we can leave it like that. And there were 5 options instead of 4, so let me add an additional option down here. Perfect. That's already starting to look like the template that we just saw, right? Okay, so here is our question, which is what shape does your roof have? And now we can add our images. I'll just drag and drop them here one by one like this. Perfect and perfect. And one more. Great. To name these images, so we can further explain what the image means. I can just type it here: flat roof, slanted roof, gable roof. This one was other, and this one was a hip a hip roof. Let's move other roof all the way to the end. Perfect, that's done. Okay, so now we have the content. Now we have the text and we have the question. Let's make it look like the actual template that we just saw, which had that green background. To add the background, we need to click here, and then down underneath we have the space where we can drag and drop our background like this. Perfect. So now the background looks the way we would like it to. However, there is still this white content card that is holding all of the things that we just dragged and dropped into it. And because our background is not very busy, we can make the content card invisible without losing any readability. And while we are here, let's have a look at some of the other design options that we have. There are two ways to change the design of anything in Involve Me. First would be through general project design, which is the design of the whole thing, basically. If right now I only have one page, but if I had 30 pages and I change anything in general project design, those changes are going to apply to all my 30 pages. So if I change this text color over here to, let's go with a dark green, I guess. Then all the text is going to be that color on every page. But if I just want to change the text color on this individual question, then I need to click the question, and here in design, I tick customize this element only. That means all my other questions will stay the same. So I'm going to tick this. And I'm going to change the answers text from the dark green to white. And you see that none of the other text has changed. So that pretty much covers how to put your brand identity onto anything that you make in Involve Me design-wise. Now, functionality-wise, remember how I told you that every single answer that the customer picks comes with a price tag. Now, how do we attach these price tags? Very simple. Just click the question where you would like to attach the price tag to. And over here, we need to tick individual score and calculation because we will be using these images that the customer selects to calculate the final price quote. So I'm going to tick that. And here I'm going to enter my values. So let's say this is going to be 10 euros per square meter. This one is going to be 15. This one is going to be also 15. This one can be 20, and this one can be 25. So these are our price tags. Let's move on to the rest of the questions, and then we can calculate the final price quote. Next, we need to ask a multiple choice question, which is about additional structures on the roof. Don't worry, we're going to tweak the design of this a little bit, but let's first fill in the answers. So the first answer would be no. The second answer, and I'm just going to copy paste this one so you don't have to watch me type, would be small fixtures and then large fixtures. Again, let's attach the price tags. So no additional costs. Small ones, let's do 2 more euros per square meter, and then large ones would be 5. So we have that. Now the text here is a little bit cut off weirdly, and this gray doesn't really match the rest of the template. So let's see what we can do about that. I'm going to take this yellow right here and put it into these options. So here's where I would put it into my element. Now everything is yellow. And to make this question smaller, I'm just going to change it from medium to small. Great, let's move on to our third question, which would be how many square meters does your roof have? So this would be an open question where they can type in the number. So this is our question, and because this is a number question and I'm going to use this in a calculator formula, I only wanted to accept numbers. So only accept numbers is ticked. I'm also going to add a suffix that's going to say square meters, so it's more visual. And that's that. Now down here you can see that this page has a little warning which says this page has no link to the next page, which means there's no way to tell if a customer is done typing the number, so it can automatically go to the next page like all the previous pages. Like this one, the customer just selects the option and it automatically goes into the next page, but here we don't know when they're done typing. So I'm going to add a button, and everything is ready. Now the warning is gone and the customers have a way to move on to the next page. Now moving on to question number 4, which is how many people live in your household? I'm going to use a slider for that and copy paste in the question right here. Now, 0 people living in a household is not really a realistic option, so I'm going to put the starting minimal value as 1 person living in the household. I can also make the slider start value at the average size of a household in your given country, so I'm just going to go with 3 people. And there we go. Again, we are not sure when a person is done sliding, so we need a button to help them go to the next step. And now we can go to the next step. The 5th step would be making the loading screen. So we would need a headline over here. And the text would say something like this. The subheadline would say something like this. Now let's add the little loading GIF trick. So in order to do that, I'm going to add, oh, not an image answer, but an image from down here. And I'm going to drag and drop the loading GIF right here. Ta-da! We can make it smaller or larger. I guess this is just fine. Now, if we just leave it at this, you can still see that there is an error message that there's no way to go from page 5 to the next page because there's no button. To bypass that and to actually make it load a certain amount of time, we are going to insert a timer from right here at the bottom. And we are going to set this timer to however long you would like. I'm going to set it to 3 seconds. Most important thing, don't forget to hide the timer so people can't see that you're just making them wait for 3 seconds for no reason, because this is just a GIF and everything is already calculated. Okay. Now all that's left to do is the most important part, the lead magnet part, that is asking for people's contact information. And pay attention because it's going to be really quick. So you ready? All you need to do is drag and drop the contact form right there. And that's it. You can play around with it a little bit. You can adjust the text here. So instead of filling your personal details, you can say we found a fitting offer for you. And in the description text, you can include a little bit more detail. You can also decide whether you would like to make some of these required or if you only require the email. Let's change this button text to submit. And we are ready to go. The final step is just a quick thank you page, which is basically just a headline, which can say something like this, and the subheadline can be this. And that is all your customers are going to see. But we know that there's a little bit more happening for us. What needs to happen for us is the actual calculation, the custom price quote calculation. So how to make that happen? We have the questions, we have the price tags, we have the lead capture element. Now let's do the calculator formula. So over here all the way down, let's drag and drop a calculator in, and then I'll tell you what happens with that. So our calculator is here. It's going to display the result, but we are going to hide the result for the participant, so they are forced to go to their emails when they are more likely to continue the conversation with our sales team, because they're going to get a personalized automated email that's going to be signed by one of our team members. It's going to introduce that team member, and hopefully that real team member can then take over that client. But in order to do that, we need to hide the calculator result. So we have done that. It is ticked. Now let's do the calculator formula. I know it sounds scary, especially if you're not a mathematical genius, but I promise you it's going to be very easy. So let's click Open Formula Builder. And okay, whoa, here we have some numbers. What do these numbers mean? So Q1 means question 1, question 2, question 3, and question 4. So these are all the questions in the order in which we have them. If you're not sure which means what, actually let's delete it so it doesn't confuse you. Over here we have question 1, what shape does your roof have? So this is question 1 on page 1. On page 2, we have question 2, do you have additional structures on your roof? On page 3, question 3, how many square meters does your roof have? And page 4, how many people live in your household? So whatever the customer answers to these questions can be used to calculate a custom price quote. The formula that we are using for this particular product is going to be, what shape does your roof have multiplied by how many square meters does your house have, plus do you have any additional structures on the roof multiplied by how many square meters does your house have, end of parentheses, and the whole thing is going to be multiplied by how many people live in your household. That is just an example. That is just one example of a formula for this particular company. You can enter any formula based on how you calculate your custom quotes. Any sort of mathematical symbols can just be typed in. And yes, you can use the answers from any of the questions that you ask, as long as it is possible to attach a numerical value to them, which it always is. So let's save that. And there we have it. Once we are ready with the design, let's have a look at the functionality and test if it works. So let's click Design Preview, and we can see what our design would look like on desktop and what it would look like on the phone. If we click Try It, we can actually interact with it the same way a customer would interact with it and see if everything works exactly the way we intended it to. So first, we're going to pick a roof, then we're going to pick any additional structures. Then we're going to enter how many square meters does our roof have. How many people live in the household? 3 is fine. Then we're going to wait for the results. Our name. By the way, this is my actual email address at where you can reach me, monica@involve.me. Yes and yes. Thank you for your submission. And if this was a real project, if it was live, if it was on your website and not just in draft preview, do you see that? That means this is just for testing. That means it's not actually sending emails and it's not actually being used. It's just for you to test if it works the way you wanted it to. So yeah, so far everything seems to have gone smoothly. So let's move on and actually set up the emails. So let's go back here and click Publish. And here we are in the settings. So here we can change the basic things like the name, you can enter your domain, you can specify your URL, you can set up an end date if you would like to stop accepting quotes past a certain date in the month. You can also add chat widgets to make the communications easier and open yourself to more questions. But what we came here for is to set up the emails. So there are 2 types of emails. You can set up a notification for yourself, so you know when somebody fills in the form in your calculator on your website or on your social media. You don't have to keep checking. You will get an email notification when that happens. And you can set this up for up to 5 emails, and it can be any email. It doesn't have to be the email that you registered with. It doesn't even have to be a company email. The only thing that we ask you for that is an email of a person who agrees to this. Don't just send this up for a random email to see what happens. Also, you probably don't want to send your clients there. So that is the first type of email, internal notifications. The second type of email is external emails to clients that contain the quote. So over here, you can send an email when a submission is completed. That means somebody makes it to your thank you page where the quote is calculated. So let's do that and send custom emails to participants when submission is completed. So here you can change the sender's name. So it can be Josh Smith from Solar Power. Replies to email address can be actual Josh's email address. So your sales team would get all the replies from your real clients. So this would be josh@solarpower.com. And over here is where you can type in your email text. You can drag and drop any images, GIFs. You can add PDFs, attachments, anything. Go crazy. Okay, so these green things that you are seeing are personalization tokens. They take information from the questions and the answers that we have just collected, and they pull them into the email. So for example, we can call the clients by their first name. Actually, let me just copy paste the whole text here already so we don't have to look at the placeholder. So yes, so over here we already have hi, first name. Thank you for reaching out. Based on the details you entered, your custom solar power panels will cost this much. This little token, that's its calculator, and the code for the calculator is going to be your price quote. So this is how much it's going to cost. To proceed with the payment, continue here. So you can already link the payment page where they would have to pay. So they can already complete the payment, and then your contractors can already go in and start working to change the details and get a new price quote, which realistically will happen to a lot of people. They will not be happy with the final price. They will try to tinker with it, to adjust their own service, to adjust the product, to try to get a lower price. So that is also possible. People can recalculate a quote as many times as they would like to. You can even add a button at the end of your calculator that just says do the calculation again, and they can just try the whole day until they get the price that they want. And the best part about this is that you don't have to be there for it. You're just there when they actually decide to reach out to your sales team. So that's another thing you you can do. So this is your email pretty much. The same kind of personalization that you can do in the text of the email, the body of the email, you can also do in the subject of the email. So there we go. Whoop, that did not copy paste well into the subject line. Never mind. In order to enter a personalization token, just type the @ and here you can find the calculator. So you can see calculator here is on the thank you page, and that's the one we want. So your solar panels will cost, and let's personalize it further with the first name. So let's start typing first name, and there we go. Your solar panels will cost this much, Josh. And then it's up to them if they would like to move on or move forward. Okay, so that is the email. Once your email is done and you are happy with it, it is a great idea to test it by sending it to yourself. And there's a special button for that. Over here, this little airplane. A preview of this email will be sent to this email address. Are you sure? Yes, send. And then you can go into your inbox and see if everything is looking the way you want your clients to see it, because the way it looks in your inbox is how it's going to look in your client's inbox. Okay, perfect. Moving on, here you have some personal data information that you can set up for your calculator, so you are in control of that. Also, social media sharing. If you are planning to share this calculator on your social media, you can type in a custom sharing title, you can type in a custom sharing description, and you can upload your own sharing image. So you are fully in control what your content looks like on social media, and that's great. That way you don't have to design and type in everything over here with social media in mind. This can be for your internal purposes only and for your team to keep everything organized, but this is what the public is going to see. So we keep those very in very separate categories. Now, tracking, you can add your Google Analytics tracking ID, your Facebook Pixel, and your Google Tag Manager, so you can integrate this with all your other tools and all your other processes. Speaking of integrations, over here in integrations, if you take custom integration settings for this project, you can see that we have a collection of native integrations. All you need to do is configure them, and that's it. Everything is handled directly between InvolveMe and that native integration. If the software that you are using is not on this list, then Zapier is an excellent option. There are thousands of Zaps and apps and Zaps and apps and thousands of ways in which you can connect Involve Me with other software. Also, webhooks, if you are more technically skilled, then webhooks is an excellent, very flexible option for you if there isn't a native integration already. But anyways, once you have figured out the best way that works for you, you are ready to publish. You can also publish before. You can add all of these things a little bit later. It depends on how important they are for you. Perfect. So once your custom price quote calculator is published, you will get a link to share it. You will get a short link to share it, for example, on Twitter when there's a limited amount of characters. You will get a custom embed code, which is very important. So if you want to include this in your actual website, seamlessly integrated into it, then you will use this code. And all you need to do is hit copy code and paste it where you would like it to go in your website. If you would like to change anything about how the actual embed looks like, you can make it more narrow, you can make it wider, you can make it scrollable like this if you would like to, by playing around with these options, and you can see all the changes in real life right here. And finally, you also get a QR code. So if you would like this to be printed somewhere or in a physical location, then that is also something that's possible to do. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you make a custom price quote calculator for your website or for your social media. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that some of you actually make one of these for your business. And if you do, please let me know. I would love to see them. We love at Involve Me, we love seeing the content that you guys make with our tool. We celebrate it, we share it, we write stories about it. This actual template that I just showed you was inspired by a real customer of ours who figured all of this out by themselves. So as much as you get inspired from us, we get even more inspired from you. So if you make something cool or just something that you're proud of, share it with us, share it in our Facebook group, or just send it to my email. You know my email now, monica@involveme. And yeah, I'm super excited to see what you guys make.